The 1960s were an exciting time for car design in America, but not every experiment was a success. While some designs became instant classics, others missed the mark by a mile. Today, we're counting down the 13 ugliest American cars of the 1960s that nobody wants back. From awkward proportions to questionable stylings, these are the cars you'll want to forget. Let's dive into this quirky corner of automotive history. Here are 13 designs that prove not every experiment in the 1960s was a success. Before we dive into the list, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to Legends of the Road, and ring the bell so you never miss our latest videos. Which car do you think's the worst? Let us know in the comments below. Starting off the list is the 1961 Plymouth Fury, a car that tried to do too much all at once. With tail fins that looked more like spaceship wings and a grille that resembled a cheese grater, the Fury was as chaotic as its name suggests. While it had decent performance, its design made it a laughingstock among competitors. The exaggerated styling elements were part of a trend in the early 60s to capture attention, but in this case they overwhelmed the car's proportions. The Fury looked more like an art project gone wrong than a cohesive design. Its overly ambitious aesthetic choices turned off buyers, making it a car remembered more for its oddities than its contributions to the market. Next is the 1969 Edsel Ranger, a car that marked the end of the Edsel brand. Its oversized grille and mismatched proportions screamed outdated even in its own time. Ford had hoped the Edsel would revolutionize their lineup, but by 1960 it was clear the brand was doomed. The horse collar grille, a design hallmark meant to make the Edsel stand out, only served to alienate potential buyers. The body lines seemed to lack any cohesive flow, making the car look pieced together rather than thoughtfully designed. It's no surprise that the Edsel is remembered as a failure, not a classic. The 1969 AMC Rambler was the epitome of plain and uninspired design. With its boxy shape and uninventive styling, the Rambler was less about turning heads and more about blending it into the background. While its practicality and affordability were selling points, the lack of visual flair made it a tough sell to buyers looking for a bit of excitement in their car. The Rambler's square, unadorned front end and uninspired body lines felt like a relic in a decade known for otherwise bold design statements. Even in its time, it struggled to compete with the more stylish offerings from other automakers. The 1963 Studebaker Wagonaire was an ambitious attempt at innovation with its sliding roof panel, but the execution fell flat. The sliding roof, while a novel idea, often leaked and rattled, leaving owners frustrated. Its bulky proportions and awkward styling didn't win at any fans either, and the poor design quality ensured that it would be remembered as a misstep rather than a marvel. The Wagonaire's design failed to balance functionality and aesthetics, resulting in a car that was neither practical or attractive. A reminder that innovation needs to be paired with good design to succeed. The 1965 Dodge A100 was more of a workhorse than a looker. With its flat cab-over engine design and stubby proportions, it was undeniably practical but far from attractive. The A100 prioritized utility over style, making it a staple for businesses but an eyesore on the road. Its flat front gave it a top-heavy appearance, and the awkward short nose didn't help either. While it has a cult following these days, its design remains a divisive topic among car enthusiasts. While the Ford Thunderbird was iconic in its earlier years, the '62 convertible version took things in an awkward direction. The retractable roof mechanism added unnecessary bulk to the rear, making the car's proportions look clunky and unbalanced. This extra bulk also impacted the car's performance as the added weight strained the engine and suspension. The Thunderbird convertible was a case of trying to do too much and a design that did not age well. The 1966 Chevrolet Corvair was already controversial thanks to Ralph Nader's critique and unsafe at any speed, but its design didn't help either. The Corvair's awkward proportions coupled with its unusual rear engine layout made it a divisive figure in automotive history. While the rear engine design offered some benefits in handling, the overall look of the car just felt off balance and uninspired. The Corvair struggled to find an identity, and its polarizing design didn't help its case. The 1968 Mercury Montego was about as generic as they come. With a plain grille and uninspired lines, The Montego failed to stand out in a decade known for boldness. It was a car that's easily forgotten, and for good reason. The Montego's lack of character made it hard to compete with more exciting offerings from the competition, and the blandness ensured it would be an afterthought in automotive history. At number 5, we have the 1961 Imperial Crown Southampton. This car was trying to be luxurious, but the exaggerated tail fins and overly ornate grille made it look more gaudy than it did grand. The massive tail fins, while eye-catching, felt like a holdover from the 50s and didn't fit with the sleeker designs coming out in the 60s. The overly elaborate grille added to the car's gaudiness, making it a design that has not aged well. The 1964 Dodge Polara suffered from an identity crisis. Its front grille looked like it belonged on a completely different car, and the rear design did little to tie things together. The result was a car that felt disjointed and poorly thought out. The Polara's mismatched elements made it hard to take seriously, and it's no surprise it's not remembered fondly. Coming in at number 3 is the 1960 Chevrolet Corvair pickup. Its cab-forward design and rear-engine layout make it unique, but not in a good way. The proportions were strange, and its practicality didn't make up for its awkward looks. The Corvair pickup was an interesting experiment, but it's a design that has rightfully stayed in the past. The 1967 Ford Galaxie 500 was a car that tried to be bold but ended up looking bloated. Its oversized front end and plain rear design made it unbalanced and uninspiring, a far cry from Ford's usual successes. The Galaxie's design lacked the elegance and cohesion needed to stand out, making it a forgettable entry in the Ford lineup. And at the top of our list, the 1969 Pontiac Safari Wagon. With its excessive wood paneling, awkward proportions, and sheer bulk, the Safari Wagon was far from stylish. It's a design that screams utility over elegance, and it's no wonder it's been left in the past. The Safari Wagon is a reminder that sometimes less really is more. And there you have it, 13 of the ugliest American cars of the 60s that nobody wants back. While the 1960s gave us some of the most iconic designs in automotive history, these cars remind us not every experiment is going to be a success. Which of these do you think's the worst offender? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Legends of the Road, and hit the bell so you never miss our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.